The of July weekend coincided with Sophie's birthday, so I took her to a jewelry store to buy a lucky charm pendant. After we picked out a style, I was about to snap a photo to send to Daniel. Suddenly, a hand reached out, knocked my phone away, and snatched the lucky charm pendant. "Who do you think you are? How dare you steal the reserve piece Daniel bought for me? Don't you know he's already paid for it? Stealing someone else's belongings in broad daylight? Have you truly become so shameless?" I picked up my phone from the floor, only to find the screen shattered. Before I could even speak, she was already on the phone. "Let me tell you, my husband is the CEO of Sterling. When he gets here, he'll make sure to kick out trashy bitches like you who steal from others." I was stunned for a second. My husband is also the CEO of Sterling. There's always been only one CEO at Sterling. Could I have just run into someone with the same husband as me? After she finished her call, Tiffany looked at Sophie and me with a sneer. "I've seen plenty of people like you. You come in claiming you want to buy something. Then you grab a style someone else has already paid for, snap a photo, and post it online to brag that you bought it yourself. You're unlucky to have run into me today. When arrives, I'll make sure you get what's coming to you." Sophie was scared and whimpered, asking me, "Mommy, this lady is scary. I want to call Daddy." Hearing this, Tiffany moved to grab Sophie. "So young, and already doing such shameless things with your mother. Today, I'll give you the lesson your teacher should have, so you don't go down the wrong path later." I slapped her hand away. "Don't you dare touch my daughter." She didn't expect me to fight back. She slammed her bag down, ready to strike. The of July weekend was a holiday, and the store was running a promotion with a live stream online. Now, with her commotion, the number of viewers on the live stream soared, instantly surpassing 1 million. Netizens flocked to watch the drama unfold. "Wow, a real hero. People who just take photos without buying deserve to be called out ages ago. Moms who bring their kids are the worst. I always avoid them. That little girl next to her is clearly just like her mother, probably a bully in school too." Sophie saw the comments, her face full of hurt, and yelled at the live chat comments, "I don't bully anyone." I crouched down, wiped her tears, and gently comforted her. Sophie sobbed uncontrollably. "Mommy, why are they being mean to us? I want to call Daddy and tell him to punish this bad lady." "Mommy, don't worry. I won't let them pick on you like this." She used her kid's smartwatch to call Daniel several times, but no one answered. I remembered Daniel telling me this morning that he had an important meeting, so he was probably still in it. I shielded Sophie behind me, looking at the domineering Tiffany. "No matter the reason, you shouldn't have laid hands on my daughter." She snorted coldly, her gaze raking over me from head to toe 5 or 6 times. "A scammer taking photos in a luxury store, putting on an act of mother-daughter affection? Just a pair of poor fakers who love to show off, and you still dare to be so arrogant? Am I wrong?" I couldn't believe it encountered such a lunatic just trying to buy Sophie a gift. Suppressing my anger, I tried my best to hold back. "Please call your so-called husband now and prove whether this lucky charm pendant was actually reserved by him." She shot me a sidelong glance, then picked up her phone to send a message. "My husband is already on his way. When he gets here, he'll expose your true colors and make you regret ever showing up." After she finished speaking, she raised her hand to smooth her hair. But when I saw the watch on her wrist, I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. It was a couple's watch, and she was wearing the ladies' version. The men's version was one I had only ever seen on Daniel's wrist. Daniel used to wear the watch I gave him when we were dating for over 6 years. But last month, he took it off. I asked him why, and he said the brand I liked had recently released a couple's watch, and we'd each get one when they arrived. Later, I never received a watch. Daniel said it was too businesslike and didn't suit me, so he let it go to someone more appropriate. That's why I hadn't thought much of the new watch on his wrist. But now, I was absolutely certain that the watch Daniel wore and the one on Tiffany's wrist were precisely that couple's watch, identical to the photos on the official website. In that moment, the watch on her wrist hit me harder than all of Tiffany's earlier provocations, so the appropriate person Daniel mentioned for the watch was standing right in front of me. Tiffany glanced at a message on her phone, a triumphant look on her face. "My husband is at the intersection. When he comes in, you two will be crawling out of this store on your knees today." Sophie, whom I was shielding behind me, was frightened by Tiffany's aggressive demeanor and tugged on my hand. "Mommy, Daddy's phone isn't answering. Should I call Uncle?" Before I could agree, she took out her smartwatch and called James again, but it still didn't connect. Tiffany looked at the 2 store assistants beside her, her tone haughty. "See, I told you from the start, These two are scammers. If you ever show my reserved items to people like them again, I'm taking my business elsewhere." She finished speaking and then looked at Sophie and me. "I was going to let you off with an apology. But you're so utterly clueless and arrogant. You even think you can call for backup when gets here. I'll make you kneel and apologize to me. And confess on the live stream that you're scammers." I was absolutely dumbfounded by her shamelessness. I couldn't fathom going out in broad daylight and encountering such a once-in-a-lifetime lunatic. Sophie was terrified by Tiffany's threats and unable to reach James. She started to cry softly. Tiffany's anger intensified when she heard the crying. "Let me tell you, don't think a few tears will make me let you off. Even if you cry yourself to death here today, I'll still make your mother and you kneel and apologize to me." She finished speaking, then pointed at me, curling her lips into a sneer filled with contempt and disdain. "Like mother, like daughter. You probably taught her these tricks, right? Cry a little in front of others, and they'll kindly let you off the hook. I don't care whose mistresses you are, whose bastards you are. These tactics don't work on me. Save them for those horny old men who fall for any woman." I took a step forward, my eyes fixed on her with a dark glare. "Slander is legally punishable. You'd better watch your mouth." To my surprise, she completely ignored my warning, turning to mock the store assistants beside her. "Letting women who are constantly mistresses come into your store will definitely hurt your business. Millions of netizens have seen them in your store today. You should demand compensation for reputational damage. And don't let that little bastard grow up to be a bitch like her mother." She could say whatever she wanted about me, but she absolutely could not insult my daughter with such vile language. I stepped forward, grabbed her collar, and slapped her twice. The store assistants, who had initially been about to agree with her, now cowered, intimidated by my fury, not daring to intervene. Those two slaps had landed hard. Tiffany's face quickly swelled. She clutched her face with one hand and roared at me. "You bitch. How dare you hit me? Do you even know who my husband is? I'll tell you. He's the CEO of the famous Sterling. When I marry into the estate next month, I'll make sure you bitches disappear from Emerald City." I was stunned by her outrageous claims. Next month? How could I not know Daniel was getting a new wife next month? But I suspected she was out of her mind and couldn't be bothered to argue with her about it. I pointed to the security camera above. "All your defamation and slander just now has been recorded. You can expect a lawyer's letter from Sterling." I held shares in Sterling. She had insulted my daughter this way today, and I absolutely wouldn't let it slide. She listened to my words as if I'd told the biggest joke, looking at me as if I were utterly ridiculous. "A woman like you, daring to try and latch onto Sterling. You're dreaming. Let me tell you, mister, Daniel isn't someone just anyone can impress. I've been by his side for so long, and there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of women throwing themselves at him, and he hasn't given them a second glance, much less an older woman like you with a kid." Seeing I didn't believe her, she pulled an ID badge from her bag and waved it in front of me. "Open your eyes and take a good look. I'm Daniel's personal secretary, the CEO of Sterling. Even if you want to snag a rich man, you need to see if you even have what it takes, Tiffany." I looked at the name and murmured it aloud. She put away the ID badge and snorted coldly. "Realize your regret now. Too late. When Daniel gets here, I'll make you regret crossing me today." I ignored her words, my mind replaying that name. Finally, it clicked. Once, Daniel came home after a business dinner with a lipstick stain on his shirt. Before I could even question him, he hugged me and confessed voluntarily. "Honey, don't overthink it. The new secretary I hired recently is clueless. Not only is her work performance bad, but her alcohol tolerance is terrible too." I, as her boss, had to look after her at the dinner. I feigned anger, evading his alcohol-infused attempts to kiss me. Daniel buried his face in my shoulder, whining. "Honey, I genuinely messed up. I'll throw this shirt away in a bit, and I'll replace the secretary tomorrow. Please don't be angry, okay?" I kept an eye on things for a while afterward and noticed no other inappropriate behavior from him, so I stopped worrying. I thought he had replaced her. I never imagined he was secretly keeping her behind my back. I clenched my fists, feeling as if the air conditioning in the store was too strong, making me shiver uncontrollably. Tiffany thought I was scared. She stepped forward in her heels and shoved me hard. I stumbled back a few steps but regained my balance. However, Sophie, who was standing behind me, was knocked to the ground by the momentum. I reached down, helped her up, then turned and glared at Tiffany. "Are you utterly shameless?" Before I could finish, she slapped me across the face. weren't you so tough a second ago? Scared now, are we? No matter how shameless I am, it's better than being a mistress and a bastard like you two. Enduring the stinging pain on my cheek, I prepared to retaliate, but the next second, Sophie stepped forward from behind me, pushed Tiffany, and stood in front of me, yelling at her. You bad lady. Don't you dare hurt my mommy. When my daddy finds out, he won't let you get away with this. Tiffany looked down at Sophie, who barely reached her waist, and scoffed. Daddy? So you, a bastard, actually have a father? Well, your mother is so shameless. She's probably found you more than one father, hasn't she? A bastard. Yet you dare to be so arrogant? Today, I'll teach you a good lesson on behalf of others. She shoved Sophie to the ground. As she was about to kick her, I lunged forward, grabbed her hair, and dragged her aside. Tiffany shrieked, clutching her scalp. You bitch. How dare you touch my hair? I'll kill you, she said, startled by the fury in my eyes. Then turned and roared at the store assistants. I'm a VIP customer here. If you don't help me today, tomorrow I'll have my husband shut down the store. The two store assistants hesitantly stepped forward and grabbed my arms. Tiffany rolled up her sleeves, a cold sneer on her face, and moved closer to me. Sophie, seeing I was in danger, quickly used her smartwatch to call, Uncle, hurry. A bad lady is hurting mommy. Please come save her. This bad lady is really mean. She's going to hurt mommy. But before she could finish, Tiffany, who had been about to hit me, turned and walked towards Sophie. I struggled desperately, trying to break free from the two assistants holding me. I'm telling you, Tiffany, if you dare lay a single finger on my daughter, I will make you pay. Tiffany completely disregarded my threat, kicked Sophie to the ground, and then pressed the heel of her high-heeled shoe onto Sophie's wrist. Sophie lay on the ground, crying heartbrokenly. I kicked over one of the assistants beside me and slapped the other several times. Then I lunged forward, grabbed Tiffany's hair, dragged her to the counter, and with all my strength, slammed her head against the glass display case. Blood quickly appeared on the edge of the counter. Tiffany held her hair with one hand and braced herself against the counter with the other. You two fools, aren't you going to help me? When gets here, I'll have him punish both you and this bitch. The two assistants quickly stepped forward and pulled me away. Tiffany looked at the bloodstains on the counter, then gently touched her forehead. Wincing in pain, the venom in her eyes was almost impossible to conceal. I can't believe mistresses these days are so arrogant. If I don't show you who's boss today, my name isn't Tiffany. I was restrained by the assistants, unable to break free. Tiffany slapped me several times and kicked me in the abdomen. I doubled over in pain, almost collapsing to my knees. But I forcefully held back. Grace, would absolutely never kneel to a person like this. Tiffany saw I wasn't learning my lesson. She grabbed a utility knife from nearby and approached me. I'd like to see how you're going to be a mistress for other men once I ruin your face. I closed my eyes, as if already feeling the pain of the blade piercing my skin. However, the next second, Tiffany shrieked. Sophie, who had just been lying on the ground, bravely got up and pushed Tiffany, who was much larger than her, to the floor. Seeing get up, I immediately yelled at Sophie, Sophie, run. But before she could react, Tiffany grabbed her. I can't believe you bastard, are just as trashy as your mother. You'll only grow up to seduce men anyway, so I might as well get rid of this blight today. She brought the knife closer to Sophie's face. Sophie struggled fiercely, kicking her arms and legs. I tried to break free from the assistants to protect Sophie, but an assistant kicked me in the knee. Enduring the sharp pain, I struggled to stand firm, watching as the tip of the knife in Tiffany's hand was about to strike Sophie's face. Suddenly, the next second, an incredibly familiar voice came from behind me. Tiffany, what are you doing? Hearing the voice, Tiffany immediately dropped the knife, stood up, and rushed towards the man behind me. Mr. Daniel, you're finally here. You have no idea. I came to pick up the lucky charm pendant you reserved for me today, and I ran into these two bitches. If you had been a second later, they would have tormented me to death. The assistants holding me also let go. Bowing to the man behind me, however, I was frozen to the spot, hesitant to turn around. Daniel's voice was all too familiar to me. It belonged to the man who had slept by my side for 6 years. Sophie was still crying on the floor. I stepped forward, helped her up, and smoothed her messy hair. Sophie, don't cry. Mommy's sorry. Mommy didn't protect you well enough. Wah? Sophie buried herself in my arms, crying inconsolably. I checked her for injuries. Besides the mark from Tiffany's high-heeled shoe, there were no other obvious external wounds. Looking at her tender face, I dreaded to think how much pain that knife would have caused if it had landed on her face. And what kind of scar would have haunted her childhood, Mommy? I just got through to Uncle. He'll be here soon to take Mommy and me home. Mommy, don't worry. I'm here. I won't let that bad lady bully you. I held her close. She was still so young. I couldn't let her face the humiliating scene behind me. I watched the reflection in the glass. Tiffany was in Daniel's arms. Mr. Daniel, you have no idea how awful that bitch is. She ruined my freshly done hair today, and she messed up my makeup too. You absolutely can't let her get away with this later. I want her to regret showing up today. Daniel stroked her head, his face full of concern, comforting her with the gentlest tone. Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll definitely get revenge for you. Anyone who offends you, I'll make sure they disappear from Emerald City. I watched him, his eyes only on Tiffany, and felt a dull knife twisting in my heart. This morning, before leaving, this man had told me he would love me forever, yet just a few hours later, he was holding another woman. Daniel's cold gaze swept over the two trembling store assistants. Is this how you treat my people? The two assistants looked panicked, almost ready to kneel before him. Mr. Daniel, it wasn't our fault. This woman came in with her child and insisted on taking photos of the Lucky Charm pendant Ms. Tiffany had reserved. Ms. Tiffany was angry and tried to reason with them. But who would have thought that woman suddenly went crazy and attacked Ms. Tiffany? We know Ms. Tiffany is a VIP client, so we were protecting her just now, preventing that woman from harming her. Because of that, we were both hit by that woman several times. Tiffany was pleased with their words and gave them a gentle smile. The two assistants became even more terrified, not daring to speak further. Daniel looked at Tiffany's swollen cheek, feeling a surge of anger. Get the bodyguards here now. Throw this woman and child out of Emerald City. The sooner the better, starting tomorrow. I don't want to see either of them again. Sophie, who had been crying in my arms, finally recognized Daniel's voice. She got out of my arms, looked at the man behind me, and spoke with a face full of hurt. Daddy, are you going to throw Mommy and me out? Why? Don't you want us anymore? Daniel, who had just been so solicitous toward Tiffany, instantly pushed her away, his face stiff, as if he'd been struck by lightning. He seemed disbelieving, staggering forward. After hesitating behind me for a long time, he spoke softly. Grace, I took a deep breath and turned to face him. Sorry to crash into your affair like this, Mr. Daniel. Do you have anything else to explain? Daniel reached out, trying to take my hand. Honey, listen to me. This is all a misunderstanding. I pulled my hand away from his. Misunderstanding? Which part of this is a misunderstanding? We've been married for 6 years, and you betrayed me. Daniel's resolve crumbled under the despair and hatred in my eyes. He pleaded desperately. Honey, things really aren't what you think. I can explain everything to you later. He then looked at Sophie beside me. Sophie, do you believe Daddy? To my surprise, Sophie also took a step back, refusing his touch. Daddy, you've really disappointed me. I can't believe you would hurt Mommy like this. From now on, you're not my daddy anymore. I don't want a liar for a daddy. Daniel's face was filled with panic. For a moment, he didn't know whether to beg me or Sophie for forgiveness. Behind him, Tiffany hadn't realized I was actually Daniel's wife. Seeing humility before me, a flicker of jealousy crossed her face. Mr. Daniel, you don't need to beg them, you still have me. She stepped forward and grabbed Daniel's arm. I'm much younger than this old woman. I can definitely give you many children in the future. Didn't you tell me you wanted a son before? As long as you. Before she could finish, I slapped her across the face. Tiffany's face was furious, her eyes glaring at me. I sneered. Do you think I won't hit you too? Before could react, I grabbed her hair and slammed her head against the wall. Let me tell you, your biggest mistake was hurting my daughter. You broke her bone, verbally abused her, and now you even dare to provoke me face to face. I, Grace, have lived for over 20 years, and I've never been one to be messed with. I let go, and Tiffany collapsed onto the floor. Daniel knew that with my vindictive nature, Tiffany wouldn't have a good outcome. He ordered the bodyguards to drag Tiffany away and take her to the operating room for an abortion. Tiffany screamed, refusing to go, and was eventually given a tranquilizer. Grace, Daniel still tried to beg for my forgiveness, but I slammed the door shut, leaving him outside. Looking at Sophie hiding under the blankets, I felt my heart being torn apart. I had always thought I could give her a happy and complete family, but I never imagined it'd make her witness her father's worst side. The next day, when the lawyer delivered the divorce papers, he found Daniel still kneeling outside. "Mr. Daniel." The lawyer put the papers behind his back, but was faster. He snatched the agreement, tearing it to shreds in a few swift movements. "Grace, I beg you. Please don't divorce me. You can punish me however you want. Just please don't divorce me." He knelt amidst the scattered fragments, weeping uncontrollably. "I know I made a mistake this time. I shouldn't have been seduced by Tiffany. Grace, I genuinely know I was wrong." I looked down at him, my heart completely unmoved. "You can tear this one up, but there will be another. Instead of acting like this, you should sign it sooner. Daniel, don't make me look down on you anymore." Daniel was sobbing, almost choking. I glanced at the message James sent me, then delivered the final blow to Daniel. "Also, from now on, all cooperation between the Shen family and Sterling will be cancelled, and we will never work together again." Daniel's face turned ashen. He never expected me to be so cold-blooded. Back then, the estate hadn't yet chosen an heir among its younger members to ensure Daniel's succession. I resolutely decided to marry him. I used the permanent partnership between the Shen family and Sterling to declare to Mr. William that as long as I was part of the estate, Sterling would never lack partners. Now that Daniel had betrayed me, it was only natural for me to reclaim what was mine. Daniel returned and signed the divorce papers. He had to deal with news of other company partners breaking their contracts, prevent his other brothers from taking his place, and also handle Tiffany's situation. Within a few months, he fell ill. I asked Sophie if she wanted to visit him, but she flatly refused. To get away from all the unpleasantness, I simply took Sophie on an overseas trip. I later learned that Tiffany, unable to bear Daniel forcing her to have an abortion, angrily defected to Daniel's younger brother. She also handed over some company secrets she had collected earlier. His brother used this opportunity to attack Daniel, and Mr. William, in a fit of rage, stripped Daniel of his CEO position. After was disowned by the family. Unable to bear the ridicule of his friends in their circle, he took a utility knife and stabbed Tiffany in the abdomen when she wasn't expecting it, causing her to bleed to death. Passersby immediately called the police upon seeing this, but Daniel pressed the bloody knife into his own chest. News of the former Sterling CEO committing suicide in the street instantly hit the headlines. The Lucky Charm pendant clutched tightly in his hand before he died became a subject of speculation for various media outlets. Some believed he was longing for his daughter abroad, while others thought it was something he had once given to Tiffany, and that he couldn't bear Tiffany's betrayal, which led to the murder. I watched Sophie's figure running in the distance, wondering if I should keep this from her for now, but she spoke first. "Mommy, I saw Daddy on the news." Seeing her red-rimmed eyes and her voice almost choked with emotion, I felt an overwhelming sense of self-reproach. Shimmering tears rolled down her face. She sobbed, asking me, "Mommy, should I not have asked you to buy me that Lucky Charm pendant?" I crouched down, hugged her tightly, and comforted her. "It's not your fault, Sophie. Mommy messed up. She shouldn't have had to witness her father's betrayal and the breakdown of our family at such a young age, but I believe that, given enough time, I will certainly make her forget this pain." Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comment section.